Welcome to Shojo Tell, where we discuss shoujo manga and tell who's hot and who's not, talk about themes, and just generally geek out. Today, May 17th, 2023, we'll be shoujo and telling about the series Codename Sailor V by Naoko Takeuchi. I'm your host, Ashley McDonald, and I'm joined by Honey.
Hi, I'm Honey.
And Vixen.
Hello, I'm Vixen. I exist.
Yes, you both exist. Okay, so Honey, would you like to tell us more about yourself?
Yeah, so I am just a hobbyist artist on Twitter and Instagram. Lately, I have been delving more into shoujo after, listening to Shojo and Tell and some other podcasts and YouTube. So I mostly draw anime, shoujo, art. It's, again, a hobby. I post on Instagram and Twitter. That's it.
That sounds fun. I wish I could draw.
I do too.
You can.
No.
I have to finally call my doctor about getting hand therapy if I want to actually be able to draw. My hand shakes too much.
Oh my goodness. Okay, Vixen, what else besides your hand would you like to say about yourself?
I don't really I don't really have a creative output. I'm just somebody that occasionally goes on podcasts, and that's it.
That's the whole thing.
I'm a college student. I really like overanalyzing media. It's just really, really fun to do. I like obsessing about media. Right now, I'm on a bloom into UKIC with my wife. We are watching it for the third time together. This time we're doing the English dub because there's so many gosh darn layers to that whole thing. And I love it. I love these disaster lesbians. I love how only two of the recurring characters are straight. That's just so good. The entire student council is made up of gays except for this one token straight.
Gotta have the token straight. Gotta have it.
Which is that's how also how Bishojo Senshi Sailor Moon works. I think
that's
Mamoru,
what I was thinking.
Mamoru is the token straight, maybe.
The token straight, the token man here. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, everyone else is aggressively bisexual.
Yes. Okay, so we're here to talk about the spin-off sequel, question mark. We'll answer that question later of that series, Sailor V. So, Honey, would you like to explain what Sailor V is about?
Absolutely. Codename Sailor V is actually the prequel series to Sailor Moon. It follows 13-year-old Minako Aino's adventures after she meets Artemis, a talking cat with a crescent-shaped bald spot. With help from Artemis and, quote-unquote, the boss, Mina becomes the superhero Sailor V and must balance her life's interest of things like idols, video games, and boys with the struggles of fighting the dark agency or even just avoiding the cops.
It's a lot,
Also, the boss is a magic space pen. And,
yes.
And Minako uses it to cheat on her homework, which is
the best use of it, obviously.
Yeah,
she's so smart.
She's so good, and Artemis is a busybody. You should stop being such a buzzkill.
Yeah, such a buzzkill. It's true. But okay, so this beginning part will be spoiler free. I guess I should have said that a hot minute ago. But yeah, so attempt to make the first 5 to 10 minutes spoiler free. And so the first question I always ask is what is our level of familiarity with the series? And as everybody already knows, I didn't do Sailor Moon, so I absolutely had not read this before right now. But Honey and Vixen are much more super fans than me. So Honey, tell us about your familiarity.
So I got into Sailor Moon. It's something I always knew about, but I only got into it in college. I watched all of the episodes on YouTube, and somehow Sailor Venus was my favorite, which, if you know my track record for favorite characters, that didn't make any sense. I liked the smart people like Ami, but Sailor V, something about her. And I realized that it was because the way she is always chasing for stardom was the way I was as a kid, and I kind of suppressed that. So I consumed the anime. I consumed the movies. I watched Crystal when it came out. I actually have not watched or read any of the Sailor Moon manga, but I bought both volumes of Sailor V when I could, and I've read that a good couple of times.
Amazing. Okay. We're going to get into so many questions about that later. But Vixen, you also like have not Sailor Mooned?
Yeah. Like, let's see. I don't really know how far I've gotten in the manga. I need to check. Let's see. I've gotten past the Silver Millennium arc, and yeah.
But you're here for Sailor V.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. So the first thing that I ever read was Codename Sailor V. It was at one of my partners. So like when I knew them in high school, and them and their like brother had all the Sailor Moon manga from the 2011 edition, and I was like, I want to read Sailor V because that one comes first, and I want to read that, and so I did, and I absolutely adored it because I really like. I liked the down to earth kind of stuff. I've always been like a comic book kind of girl, I guess. So it was fun to see like this comic book esque character running around doing dumb stuff, fighting petty crime occasionally, in addition to like the big spooky aliens, and just being a goofball. I loved that, and I started reading Sailor Moon as the Eternal edition started coming out. I've just been collecting them during Christmas and birthdays, pretty much. I'm an adult, I swear. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so I'm like, I have never watched the anime. I've watched one, well, like outside of like, I saw one episode of Crystal. Wasn't very impressed when it came out.
That's okay.
And I've seen like one episode of the 90s one. Oh, okay. And I saw Sailor Moon R once in theaters. Yes. That was cool. Yes. Good job. Oh gosh, Ikahara.
Yes.
yes.
I hope that is like that possibly fake story about him being like, I wanted it to like kill off Tuxedo Mask and have it just be about Uranus and Neptune like going on like an adventure in the stars on like flying horses. I hope that's true.
Oh, I've heard that.
Like, I know that part of it's true because it inspired like the general iconography, I guess, of Utena.
Yeah, like I was like, it brought to mind the opening of Utena, so that would make sense to me.
Yeah.
We're gonna say it's canon.
We're gonna say it's canon now. Yes,
it is canon. Tuxedo Mask is dead. Long live the lesbians.
Long live.
I'm sorry, Mamoru. I actually like you.
But you have to go. Yes. Okay. So, like, yeah, why, for people who have probably only done the opposite of what you two have done, which is read or watch Sailor Moon and not read Sailor V, what's your like pitch to those people?
If I'm speaking from the anime fans, if you've only seen like the 90s anime, I think you'll really like Sailor V. Sailor Moon Crystal follows as far as I know, it follows the Sailor Moon manga a little bit more, and it does get like more serious. There's a little bit more drama. It's more of like the superhero aspect, where I think Sailor V does more of like the comedy, the gags. You see a lot of jokes brought from the manga brought over to the anime, especially with like Minako messing up catchphrases or just silly things, her bickering with Artemis. So if you liked the 90s anime, which I think a lot of people do and also don't, but I can sell you on the 90s anime if you need me to too. If you liked it, I think you should really read Sailor V.
Okay. Vixen, do you concur? You have other thoughts?
Well, like, I wouldn't know about the 90s anime. so
I wanted to talk about that anime since I knew about that, but
yes. What in general, like, why do you love Minako so much? Like, what attracts you to reading Sailor V over and over, but being like, to Sailor Moon?
I just really like how silly and kind of down to earth it is, which it really appeals to me a bit more. It's very episodic, and there's a bit less of like a very serious overarching storyline that's playing with these larger concepts and is just going at kind of a breakneck pace. And there's not like enough time to just settle down to some of the characters and play around with them, I guess. Like the first two chapters of Sailor Moon are very Sailor V, like the jewelry store thing.
Mm-hmm.
Sailor V is just a lot of like down to earth stuff with Minako just messing around, going to arcades, wasting her life, reading manga, having like this small cast of recurring friends and family that their parents are adorable. They're fun. I love them. And just like her shenanigans with the Tokyo Metropolitan Police are really fun. And just the way that this, like, she's got like her own kind of Zenigata who's like constantly after her and trying to capture that dastardly Sailor V, and is taking everything too seriously. Like he takes everything too seriously. He's like, you hooligans, you're littering.
You're littering, how dare.
Like I shall fine you, small child. Minako is just this really, really great blend of like she's incredibly girly and incredibly boy crazy, but also at the same time she'll kick your ass. She probably knows more about your favorite hobby than you do. She's just extremely strong and capable, and I think it's a very interesting contrast to Usagi, who is kind of obviously like she starts out as a crybaby who kind like her words, who needs to rely on others at the beginning, but Sailor V is just like she's great. She's great at making escapes. She's great at just resorting to violence instantly, and she has like and she does not respect boundaries at all.
Oh no,
she's fun.
Yeah,
she's fun.
It's more of a common rider to Sailor Moon's Super Sentai, I guess.
Right. Yeah, no, for sure. Like, definitely, listening to my thoughts on Sailor Moon, I was like, but Minako and Sailor Moon is same. And now I'm like, they're not same. Okay.
Yeah.
I will give, Minako is not a crybaby at all. She's just like, I'm whiny, but I'll kick your butt for sure.
She's whiny. I think she's so capable. Like, she's so ambitious and passionate about things, but she's lazy, just like Usagi is. Yeah. And she's like lazy in the way of like, if I don't want to do this, I'm just not going to try. I think if she actually wanted to be good at grades, she could definitely do it. Like she's a good superhero when she wants to be a good superhero. Otherwise, maybe she's like kind of like a slacker.
Yeah. She's great at when she's like really interested in something. Like,
oh, yes.
She's going to burrow under a crowd to get her way. She's going to trick people. She's going to use any disguise in order to like see an idol or fight her way through like, I don't know, a hospital. She's going to do anything she can to like get a video game. Yeah. She'll use the others around. She'll use others around her to get what she wants, especially if it's frivolous.
Absolutely.
And Artemis has to like play on her on what she likes to actually like get her to do things.
Yeah.
Oh, imagine like developing a whole video game just because like
just
your human is training. Just like, I don't want to do this. I just want to hang out at the arcade. And I'm like, that's such a mood, girl. I want to go to a game. I miss game centers. I lived in Japan for a bit, and I'm like, yeah. Also, just I can't imagine being a gamer like back then, where like 100 where everything still cost 100 yen. Like 25 cents for an arcade play, that's fine in America, but like in Japan in the 90s, 100 yen per play? How?
They were all just so rich back then.
I don't think so, because like everybody keeps making jokes about how the economic bubble is burst.
They're all like, the economy is bad.
Yep.
Minako, I never have any money except when I definitely plot conveniently need money. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, they all live in like the Minato ward in Japan, which is like pretty upper class.
Yeah.
So, and I'm pretty sure that like that's all of that's intentional. But it was like so much stuff from like that specific ward that they hang out in, and like all of the locations that they're at are XBs of like real world Japanese locations, or are literally these locations in this war in Japan.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, let's like try to get out of the spoiler section here. So I'll just say that the publisher is still Kodansha. I believe we've already made a reference to the fact that there is both an Eternal edition of Sailor V and a 2011 version that they have different translations. I'm sure I read the 2011 edition because I still don't want giant books. I like small books. That's just my preference.
But this is this is the size it was
I
originally
know,
printed in.
I know.
It's
and
a Kanzenban.
I know. Okay, so both are pretty available online, or just like the 2011 edition is out of print, but like
it's still easy to find, like in your local Barnes and Noble.
Yeah. Huh. It's not like overpriced yet, so nobody get mad. That's all I'm saying. All right, but now so we're gonna spoil all the things, but also you've all already read Sailor Moon or watched it.
I should like mention that like Sailor V was originally published in like a Japanese magazine called Run Run in 1991 as like a one shot, it was just supposed to be like its own thing, and then it got kind of like one of like Takeuchi's editors like pitched it as a show to Toei, and Toei was like, "Oh, that's cool," and then that initial concept, they were like, "Okay, but what if we like had a Super Sentai-esque thing though with lots of characters?" From what I understand, anyways, and then that turned into Sailor Moon. And like Sailor Moon was going to be like the monthly thing that went in the Kodansha's like big shoujo magazine Nakayoshi, and that like started in like I don't know 1992 sometime. Whereas Sailor V would be published like during like spring breaks or whatever. So like a new chapter would come out like for the spring break special, and then like the summer special, and then so on and so forth. And then it got put on a really long hiatus in like 1994. And then like it started up again after Sailor Moon had completed in 1997. Yay!
Yeah. The 90s were a wild time. That's what I get out of looking at publishing timelines in the 90s. I'm always like, what? Okay.
Oh, wait, no, it's like, oh, never mind. It was just like, it was like really, really sporadically.
Yeah.
It was like once a year at some point, and then there like 3 came out during the year, and then like 1 came out, and like it's weird.
I tried to look up, like I think I mostly encountered that because I was like, okay, is the name Choo Choo a reference to the Utena character? Does that timeline line up? And I think I was like, it could line up based on what I saw.
Isn't that the mosquito character?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so weird. I thought it was just like what they thought the animal sounded like, but I don't know Japanese phonics.
I mean, it's possible, but it also seemed like those chapters came out in 97.
They came out in 90. That one came out in 96, so Utena was out.
Yeah, but Utena was like out. At least the manga for sure was out by that time, so it was like, okay.
It's the sound made when slurping a beverage through a straw, or perhaps a proboscis.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm looking at the translation notes from the Eternal edition.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think there was a translation note for that in the 2011 one.
I'm looking, but I don't see it. Yeah, that would have been useful.
Yeah. Come on.
Come on, 2011.
Come on, 2011. Get it together.
Come on.
You knew these. You had the internet by then. Come on.
There's not a lot of like good. Honestly, like it was a challenge for me to track down like the publication dates of like the original publication dates of like Bishojo Senshi Sailor Moon and Sailor V.
I'm so surprised you found this because I found one website that talked about one interview in a magazine, and it was like definitely like kind of a blog post kind of website. So the information you have, it's so valuable to me. I find it fascinating.
I literally like found this week on some like website called like Tuxedo Unmasked. Shout out to Tuxedo Unmasked.
Okay.
That's the one I found.
Tuxedo Unmasked is the only one true website.
It's the only one true website. Like I looked
They
on
have
like
so much.
yeah, I've looked at like every other Mooney website that I could find from like the 90s onwards because like they're still doing stuff.
No one talks about Mina though. No one talks about Sailor V.
Yeah, nobody talks about it. You
Until
guys are all fake
today.
fans. You and your Pop-Tart campaigns? What about a Sailor V campaign?
Yes. Oh my gosh. So yeah, so we're all team like Sailor V over Sailor Moon, right? Like
Of course. This is the only series. Oh, I'm kidding. both have their own merits.
Yes, love Usagi. They're different. They fit their series, I think, perfectly as the leads, but we'll get into that. But if I had to pick one, Mina's my girl.
Yeah.
She's my girl.
I've converted teams. I mean, I was never on either of their teams after the Sailor Moon.
Welcome.
But now I'm on Team Sailor V. Like, what? What's up?
Yeah.
Wait, is it too early to ask if your tier list has changed then? Do we need to talk about that at the end?
Oh my god.
My tier list, like... Oh gosh, I guess.
Yeah, no, we can talk about that now.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't like slot it clearly like into, but yeah, I would definitely put her above Usagi. I'd put her like mid tier probably now. I still don't get like Neptune. Like no, I understand V now like more than Neptune for sure.
It's fair.
But yeah, no, it's definitely just like I remember I hated on Minako's character chapter in Sailor Moon so much. Like that really turned me off from her. But now having read this, I'm like, I see why that chapter was like that.
Yeah.
And it didn't fit Sailor Moon, but it absolutely fits this manga, right? And I'm like, okay, I see. I'll give you a pass on this
A pass?
on this game game you tried to play in the main manga that I don't think works there, but would absolutely work here, you know?
Yeah. It's like a fun little extra.
Yeah. I was just like, that character story made no sense to me. It was so strange because I just didn't understand Minako at all, which I guess that's the question that's now forming in my mind is like, do you think it's a disservice? Like, everybody would love Minako more if they read this manga. Is this manga doing a disservice to Sailor V, like, you know, being relegated to the side in the main story?
I think that's only an issue that exists for like modern readers in Japan and especially American readers because this series wasn't available outside of the internet until 2011. But like readers at the time would be at least partially familiar with like Sailor V in general and the kind of tone that it had. So it wouldn't be that weird to just have like, oh, this is Sailor V. Yep, she's like this character that's been around for a while. She's silly. Like she's silly, but also there's a pretty serious side to her. And this is a thing that's happening. She's pretty smart and capable because she's been doing this for a while.
Yeah. I think she'd be a relatively popular character for maybe especially American audiences because I think I put this down somewhere that she is like a female character that is allowed to be, you know, lazy. She's allowed to like video games. She's allowed to be like bad at school, which you don't really get to see with a lot of female characters, or you didn't used to. But she also has like her merits. So I feel like she would be a lot more popular if you saw that and didn't just see I really love every aspect of her character in the anime, but I can definitely see how her boy craziness and kind of somewhat ditziness would be a turnoff to a lot of people.
Yeah. Like, I started reading these like for funsies. I started reading like these in publication order. Like, I started reading some chapters of Sailor Moon alongside Sailor
Oh,
V,
wow.
just because I was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna flip through these," and I couldn't do that in the end because I ran out of time. But it was really interesting, and like Sailor V was like kind of a fun little break, I guess, because Sailor Moon was starting to ramp up, and then Sailor V is off doing these silly things off to the side, and it's cool. But we can see that like it makes it pretty clear if you're reading both of them alongside each other that Sailor Moon is taking place like a year possibly or so after Sailor V.
Yeah.
Which I think Minako's like 14 by the time of Sailor Moon, but she's 13 in Sailor V.
Yeah.
That's what my translation says.
Yeah. In terms of my tier list, because I was reading these alongside each other, actually Ray went up. Because
hey, listen, Ray and Minako deserve each other. That's
they
still
really
my
do.
like. That's my favorite chip for Minako, despite her boy craziness.
I think that's why they're so good for each other. Like, Ray is just like, no, I'm not dealing with them.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna fall in love with literally the next person I see, which is pretty relatable as somebody that has like 7 partners.
I personally have this headcanon because Sailor V is the goddess of love. She's actually like polyamorous, and she won't ever be tied down except for Ray. Like, her and Ray always and forever, but she's off falling in love with the next person every like 2 months.
Oh yeah, like Ray's her primary partner, and then everybody else is just like she just brings these like these random people home, and Ray's like, okay, all right,
yeah.
How long is this one gonna last?
I still just think about the panel where in the Stars arc where like her and Ray turn to them and are just like, oh, like look so badass, and are like holding each other's hands or whatever. I'm like, this is perfect. I love you.
We have like, no use for men.
Yes. Yeah. I was like, thank you. Amazing.
I know this is a different manga, but there is the side stories where everyone like Ami and Makoto get their own story, but Ray and Mina, they're together. And if you ship them, that's a really good chapter to read.
I think that's where like a lot of the ship stuff came from, apparently.
It would make a lot of sense because the cover is them pretty much being embraced. And then I'm not going to get into spoilers, but
oh my gosh, the Sailor Moon rabbit hole I have fallen down. It is endless.
Rabbit.
Rabbit hole.
Because Usagi means rabbit, just as Keikaku means plan.
Keikaku means plan. It's impossible to translate, though. So. How could we ever convey? All right, so do we have a favorite silly chapter from this? Honey, what's your favorite chapter?
Okay, I'm probably not the best person to start because I have like 3, but I think there's just 2.
Name them all. I don't care.
Oh, go for it.
I love the first chapter that's in the manga, and I always thought that was the first chapter, but maybe it's not. Where they explain how she got her red bow. I'm a sucker for characters with red bows. I realized this, and it started with Mina. I don't know why, but I do really like that chapter. I think it establishes her and, you know, how she always falls in love and kind of the heartbreak she kind of finds from that, and her and Artemis bonding. So I do love that one. I love when her and Inspector Sakurada, they try to both break into the Ace concert and they bond because I love their bond. I wish there was more of it.
They're adorable. They're friends.
Adorable.
when they high five each other, I was like, yes, that's also a good panel.
I could totally believe that this like 20-year, like this 20, 30 something and like this like 13-year-old could be best friends without it being weird. They have like
so
one brain
similar.
cell.
One brain cell. They pass it back and forth.
Yes, I love them. But I also loved Ace. So that chapter and the last chapter when, because you get to see Minako being capable. I wouldn't think she kind of cheated in the idol, because like you had to show talent in that contest, and she did. Yeah. And she showed talent in her acting. And then you get the Ace, and I feel like you also understand her character a little bit more when Ace tells her, like, you don't love me. Even though you think you love me, you actually don't love me, and you could never love me. And it gets more serious, and it feels more Sailor Moon manga, even though I haven't read it. That feels more Sailor Moon manga.
It's so similar. Yeah, that's such Sailor Moon vibes.
Yeah.
So I do really like it. I wouldn't want that for the whole Sailor V series, but at the end, I think that was such a nice setup for if you had read Sailor V before Sailor Moon. I think it sets it up really nice to shift over to that series.
Yeah, which is why I liked reading that before I read Sailor Moon. Although those chapters were published like after Sailor Moon was done.
Yeah.
So...
Oh.
Yeah, it was a weird. Yeah. It was
a weird time. Okay. Vixen, what are your favorite chapters? You're like, all of them. No.
Yes, all of them. All of my favorite chapters, because I am a nerd. I'm great. Were Minako and Crown Game Center and Showdown Sailor V versus Fighter Girl Luga.
I liked that one when she was in the video game and it got drawn like she was in the video game. I was like, that's cute. I like that.
She's just a little cheapy.
Yeah.
It was really cute.
Yeah. Minako and Crown Game Center was really near and dear to my heart as somebody who like loves like arcades and game centers and nerd spaces and like, because this manga from 1993 is talking about like women in traditionally male dominated nerd spaces and just the absolute animosity that these people feel as if they're entitled to these spaces, like the comic book shop, like, oh, girls, they're only here for attention. You're not a real fan. You're just a fake fan because you're a girl.
Yes.
Okay, here's my question for the Eternal Edition. Does the nerd in that story accuse Mina of being a man too?
Yes.
Okay.
Which that honestly makes sense. He's just like, there's literally no way that somebody, that like a woman, a female, or as he refers to her as, that thing could beat my high scores. Like, she can't do this. She comes in here every day. The arcade machines like reset their high score table each day. Like, when the machines get turned off, and like the implication is that she's just been like doing this pretty much every day, and now she's finally managed to like beat his ass, and he's like, no, this can't be happening, not by a woman.
Therefore, you must be a man.
Yes, like you've obviously proven that you're superior, so you can't be a fake gamer. You must be a fake woman. Which transphobia aside, because that's not. I would assume that that's not meant to really evoke trans people, especially since Takeuchi's like very much into like gender bending bullshit.
Yes, all the gays are here.
Yeah. Also, I just you know what? I'm gonna read what he says. It's incredible. Let's see. The figure of a fragrant floral hair mousse, a forbidden sailor uniform, long straight hair, a high-pitched voice. Those things don't belong here. Since time immemorial, the video game arcade has been a bastion of solace for solitary men with no hope of forming real relationships. And yet, and I don't know when it started, this sanctuary has begun to be defiled by the clinging mollusk-like creature that is the couple. The number of casual games with warm color schemes has gone up, and to top it all off, now women are coming in unaccompanied.
I did love that rant. That rant is good.
Yeah.
A++.
Yeah, and
Thank you, Mina, for beating him.
Yeah. Also, like as a girl who like brought her boyfriend when I was living in Japan to like arcades all the hecking time and clung to him constantly. And you're a fake video game fan because cutesy like colorful games like Fantasy Zone that was like in 1986, the Cutem Up. You're a fake gamer and you should know that. It's 1993. Like cute games, it's been around forever. You like Twinbee? Guess what Twinbee is? It's a cute 'em up. It's a cute game.
Minako fights. Minako fights for women. We love that.
Yes.
Yeah. And also, and for like the electronic fighter girl Luca, I'm as a person who really like is into hardware for video games, I'm like, oh my goodness. Look at this little janky ass dude getting an arcade board in his house and setting it up to like a PVM. That's like that's what people did back in the day. Oh my gosh, I wish there was still like arcade board like secondhand like selling places that were like actual like buildings. And oh my gosh, that's so cool. This kid would totally have a Neo Geo when it came out.
Yeah.
True gamer.
I also got kind of like scared because this dude's like plugging in this arcade board without actually like putting it in some kind of case. It's just sitting there on the ground, my guy. It's gonna like one bolt of static electricity and that thing's dead.
Yeah. I just love how all the boys, like, I don't know. I grew up playing hockey on boys' teams, so a lot of this was relatable to me too. Both like the like Minako is desirable to many of the men, but then also like horrendous to some of them. And I'm like, y'all just can't decide, you know? Like, get it together. Pick one. Pick a narrative.
Yeah. They like her when she is like girly, and they don't like her when she's girly
when
and
she's
assertive.
Better than them.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like, you're not supposed to be better than me. You're not supposed to be assertive. Ew.
Ew. Gross.
Oh, but Minako's very assertive.
Yes.
Yes.
I love her.
I feel like, to my great shame, the chapter that I liked the most was the one where like the gang guy, like the random gang
I love that chapter!
I love him.
He's such a cool dude.
That okay, the teacher thing is a little weird, but it's like if you think about
he's like 18 at that time.
Yeah, when a student has a crush on a teacher, I'm like, okay, you know what? That happens. That happens. At no point did the chapter hint, I didn't read it as the chapter hinting that the teacher would have ever. And the fact that he kissed Mina thinking it was the teacher, I feel like
you're like, crisis averted.
Crisis averted. It's okay. But no, that chapter is so nice. I feel like that was, there's chapters, right, where she falls in love with random dudes, but it's always nice when we get a real focus on one of the guys.
Mm-hmm. And like she's playing matchmaker.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Then she's like doing the goddess of love thing for somebody else, and I was like, oh, it's nice. I like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh my gosh, and she's so cool in that one chapter. I forget. There's something she says. It's tears don't suit the face of Sailor V. I was like, Mina, you're so cool for saying that.
I love it. It's like,
Mina's so cool when she wants to be.
Yeah.
When she wants to be.
You're Mina's first love.
Oh, it was like her 3,000th.
Yeah.
I love the joke later that Artemis and being like, So he's your 2,981st first love. That's where we're at now. Like, sick burn, Artemis.
I also love the chapter where like it starts out with her like going through all the people that she's loved over the years, or like all the boys that have been in her life, and like her first she's just like, oh, I loved this guy, but he's dead. I killed him.
I killed him.
That's the Valentine's Day one.
Yes!
And then she gets a crush on the police officer that hates her.
Yes. And unlike the anime, that's not requited. Yay! Because that would be really creepy. He's like 30.
Yeah.
Oh
What?
my
No, I didn't need
gosh.
this knowledge.
Oh, yeah, the anime just like aged up like all of the boys for some reason, and the age gaps are just really creepy, and I hate that.
It's
Like
very
Mamoru
weird.
becomes like he's like what, 18, 19, whereas in the manga he's like 16.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he goes off to college, right? In the
Yeah,
anime?
he's in college instead of high school, and like he like skipped a grade in like
It's
high school
weird.
because he's like super smart.
At the
And
end of the manga, he goes to college, I'm pretty sure.
yeah, whereas like he's like
He's just
like
in
he's like
college
2
the
years
whole
older than
time.
Usagi, and like in the anime it's like, I don't think that's not even legal in Japan, my guy.
Yeah, no. That's not allowed.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I think it's implied in one chapter that they have sex.
It is.
Yeah,
I heard about that.
It for sure
Yeah.
is.
which like
Well, like, you can interpret it that way.
you
know?
can, and I'm I'm going to interpret it as they didn't, because
You're like, I don't want them to
Because-
have, so no. That's
it's like
fair.
the land of 10,000 nopes for me.
Nope. Okay, that's fair. All right, well, let's get into these many questions from at Lumrama Yasha on Twitter, who is one of the hosts of the Manga Mavericks podcast. So
I'm dating them.
you're dating them. This all makes sense now.
And also that's where I got my code, like 2011 Codename Sailor V thing from. 'cause-
Oh,
yeah, like
Aw.
I didn't like, they didn't like give it to me, but I used like their like manga collection as like a library.
oh, nice.
Well, I can't advertise. Like, I gotta advertise Manga Mavericks because
Yeah, you gotta.
you don't want people
you
to
can-
steal Lum from you. Like,
Yeah, you're contractually obligated now. Irebu.
Yes.
Lamrama Yasha Irebu. Heart.
Oh. Aishiteru.
She did it.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
All right. Well, we have 5 questions for V. You know, the numeral 5. Anyway, it's a joke. It works better in writing. Anyway.
Yes, it's very funny.
It's very funny. Okay.
Oh, I didn't get it.
That's all right. Well, now we made it funny, right? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the first question is feelings on the first 2 chapters being written after 3 through 6. Were they needed? I think we touched on this a little bit, but I also agree that they were needed. Like, jumping in chapter 3, I would have been so confused.
Yeah.
I can see how chapter 3 was by itself, but I had no idea that it was in any different order. I mean, like I said, I only read this with the 2011 editions. So everything that I read, I thought was it was canon. I didn't know about the order.
I honestly didn't either until this week. So
Lum's schooling us all.
yeah. Right? How did they figure that? I didn't even know that. Lum, what?
Lum, are you lying to us?
You've hidden information from me.
Yeah.
That's not very cash money of you.
That's not partner behavior.
Oh my goodness. I'm divorcing them.
Oh my god. No, we don't cause that kind of drama on this podcast.
It's the drama fight.
We're only here for good romance, except maybe on the whatever hot gimmick episode I finally put out. God, I hate that manga.
Wait, what's it called?
Hot gimmick?
Oh, that's such a good name.
It's a bad manga though.
I have only seen people hate it.
Oh my goodness.
Anyways.
What?
It's so bad. This isn't the hot gimmick episode. No. Okay.
Okay. Yes.
Chapter 1 and 2 canon.
Yeah,
Yes.
chapter 1 and 2, I think they were really needed to like establish the world if this was going to go on for like a longer series, and it like just explaining Minako's world that she inhabits, who like the
chapter
music.
1 and 2 are so feminist. They're just so overtly feminist, as
Yeah.
discussed.
Chapter 2 is the one where Minako just kicks the ass of the gatekeeping gamer dude at the arcade.
Yeah, like
which
we needed that.
We really needed that. And like chapter 1 is like a bit more serious, establishing that kind of her relationship with love and her boy craziness and how that ends up.
Yeah.
And just like the kind of things that the sinister dark agency does, and a lot of it is like preying on gender roles and the like, and perceptions of like love and beauty.
Yeah.
So it's just and reading it in like publication order is not going to mess anything like up too much, because it gives it kind of like this episodic film serial sort of thing, like a Star Wars or Flash Gordon or whatever. Or like if you're picking up like a comic or just like a Batman comic, because like because like year 1 didn't come out for ever.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, nothing strongly needs to be here or not to make sense of the story, but I just think those chapters are good. So 2, do you like Minako best as the lead or as a supporting character? Personally, I definitely liked her a lot more as the main character. I've officially put Usagi at the bottom, which I know is very controversial. For sure. But yeah, Minako is a great combination, as we said, of like being really girly and whiny, and also will just like punch you in the face. Like, I like it.
I think that she's a great lead character. I do think that having characters like Usagi in a lead role and showing off this different kind of like form of femininity that isn't like you don't need to be like aggressive and assertive to be an important person, like an important character, etc., is good. But for me personally, I enjoy reading about characters like Minako a lot more. So that's just me. I relate to those characters a little bit more.
Yeah.
That's exactly how I am. I think I said it earlier that both protagonists fit their stories perfectly. You know, you said Usagi, her femininity, right, it's different than Minako's, where she is like more of a symbol for hope, and people are like, I think especially in like these action series or superhero series, when you have a team, you have to have a leader or a main character that becomes their symbol and inspires people. Where Mina, I think she fits this, you know, solo act so well, but I just like reading about characters' antics. I like more light and fluffy stuff. I don't really need a plot line all the time. So I do like reading Mina being the lead character probably more than I would if I read the Sailor Moon manga where she's just off to the side.
Yeah, reading this reminded me a lot of reading the 3 Clamp School related stuff that we had read recently, where I was like, these were surprisingly delightful because they're light and fluffy and nothingness, and it's kind of fun. Like, yay. Like the police guy Wakagi kept reminding me of the silly people, the silly cop guy in Duke Leon and stuff, and I was like, yes, okay. I've
Nothing's
read this.
serious.
Yeah, no.
I haven't read this. I haven't read that series. I should.
No, it's okay. You don't have to read Duke Leon. Okay. Question 3 from Love is: do you consider Sailor V a canonical prequel or a parallel prequel, as Sailor Moon rarely references Sailor V? Also, since they were literally published in parallel as well, was with V ending a few months after Sailor Moon already concluded. I can read words. The same word. I mean, it's a prequel in my mind just because it did start first, and yeah, the events take place beforehand. So I'm like, it's a prequel.
Yeah. I like Sailor V. I like Codename Sailor V. Therefore, it's canon.
Therefore, it's canon.
It's part of my codits, my hypercrisis, other words for one's forming one's own canon.
Yeah.
I don't really know any ones outside of Elder Scrolls and DC
It
Comics.
provides
know
reason for why Sailor V, like definitely was starting to look for the other Sailor Guardians at the beginning of Sailor Moon.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and also sense. Like it sets up like the command center and at Crown at the Crown Game Center.
Yeah.
And it sets up just some various things about the world. The Dark Ages is spinning off into like the Dark Kingdom, and Sailor V is like a mentor figure for everyone else. They never say what the boss is though.
I thought the boss was always Luna.
Yeah. Because in the end, the boss is Luna.
I don't know. They never confirm it, and I choose to believe that the boss is just in the background of everything that's happening in Sailor Moon, and the boss is literally just the pen. We do see
the pen is sentient.
Okay. The pen is the boss. The pen is the boss.
Yeah, we saw the boss like drinking tea with Artemis on a few occasions. We've seen the boss like just do things on its own. That's what it is. It's the boss.
I don't know why I thought the boss was Luna. I swear I always did. And I'm now like kind of looking and trying to figure out why I thought that.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't make any sense because in Sailor Moon, the boss ends up being like Artemis and Sailor V, right?
And
gosh.
And in the the Wan chapter, Artemis is like, "Whoa, Luna?
Yeah.
Oh,
no
the dog.
way!
The dog.
Is it Luna? Oh my gosh! I can't believe I finally found Luna. Oh, it's a. I still love them.
Yes.
Love is fickle like this.
Yes. Love transcends species.
Yes.
But only when that you know what?
Only when they look similar.
Don't clip that out of context.
I'm definitely only going to clip that out of context.
Thank you. This is my legacy now.
Yes. This is the only time I'm going to use one of those like share a snippet things. It's just for that.
Yeah.
All right. Question 4. Thoughts on her manga backstory compared to the anime working with Interpol? Which tragic romance do you like more? Her star-crossed love with Ace or her love triangle with Alan? See, I don't know who these people are.
It's okay. It's okay you don't know who Alan is. We forget
No one
Alan.
cares about Alan.
No one cares.
Yeah, is this a troll question? Is Lum trolling me?
No, this is like a legitimate thing.
Okay.
Because like in the anime, like Sailor V's backstory is that she started working with Interpol, and these XPs of like the police superintendent and Wakagi were working for it as well. And Minako had like a thing for Alan, who's alternate universe Wakagi, even though he's an adult. And like they had like a legitimate, like they were dating. And then there was like a big explosion when like all three of them working together on a case at one point, and they thought that Sailor V was dead, and so and then Sailor V's like, "Oh, I'm actually fine," and then she runs into them making out, I don't remember
They like I watched the episode because this question.
Yeah.
She like because like the other woman, I don't remember her name. That's really bad.
She's the police superintendent. That's who she is.
Yeah, she saw the explosion happen, thought Sailor V was dead. Alan comes to the scene. She's like, "Oh, Alan, it's awful. Mina's dead." And like they embrace, and Sailor V sees them embrace, and it's like, "Oh, I didn't realize that they were in love," because she was like, all three of us spent all this time together. Of course, I introduced her to Alan because the woman was supposed to be like her, like an older sister type to her.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure some people read it as like, hey, Sailor V just had a crush on an older man and of course the two adults got together. But it was still like, why did you put this in here? You said it's Mina's tragic backstory, and Usagi cries about it, and it's like, no, Usagi, that was an adult.
Yeah.
Don't cry about this.
Why are the gag manga characters getting why are the gag manga characters suddenly the dramatic backstory?
It was so weird.
I don't like anything that was just said. Yeah.
yeah. I'm banishing Alan to Siberia.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's going to work in Siberia now.
Yeah. That's perfect.
Yes.
And we can keep the anime counterparts, they don't look near as good as the manga counterparts.
They really don't.
So no one likes Alan. We love Ace.
Ace is actually a character with some rapport with
Adonis.
Minako.
Yes.
Yeah. Like I think there are some problematic aspects to him, as in it seems like he feels kind of entitled to that love. Yeah. Which he never really had. He's like, we shared this love, but it's like, and then makes it clear, oh, well, it was kind of a one-sided thing, but now in this life, you two have gotten to know each other a bit more, and now you've realized that, oh, no, it probably wouldn't have worked out even in that life, which I think is really cool. And it's cool that she's like, hey, we could make up for that at this. It'll be fine. And he's like, nah, fam.
Not fam.
Like it probably literally couldn't, because Ace, spoiler, he's working directly under Kuzenite, who is one of the 4 heavenly kings of the Dark Kingdom. He's actually Dan Burite, which so
yes.
Like he most likely like intentionally killed himself specifically so he wouldn't ever have to hurt her, which is kind of cool. Good for him.
Good for him.
He's I don't really know how to feel entirely about him. Like I'd actually have to, because like this is the one chapter that where you actually like have to actually think about character motivations and the like.
Yeah. I personally do love him. The unrequited love, him watching her be like his princess essentially. I adored that, but the actions he took afterwards, Ace, no thank you. No thank you. So I was really sad that he had to die and that they could not continue that, and that no one knows about Ace. They only know about Kunzai when you come to like, Minako ships, but it's okay because Ray makes up for it.
Yeah, I was like the one true sip is still Ray, though. Like, this question means nothing to me.
See, the thing is, like, he's like, you can never love another. Your loves are all doomed to fail because you're too devoted to your duty instead of like love in of itself. You facilitate it, but you can't. But you never fight for it for yourself. And I'm like, well, see, you know who else is devoted to like the same duty? Right. So loophole, buddy. Your love fortune thing, it might be technically true, but what if she dates Ray? There you go.
What if she dates Ray? We have no use for men.
We have no use for men here.
no use for men. Okay,
just crows and
I'm
kicking butt.
I have to date one.
Okay,
just one
though. You gotta have your token boy.
It's like boy question mark.
So it doesn't count.
There you go.
Yeah. Gosh, just like imagine like it's your honeymoon and your wife just like won't just like, no, the crows are sleeping in here.
Yeah. Oh man, Ray's great. That's why.
Yes.
She's worth it.
She is so worth it. Phobos and Deimos are so cool.
Yes. For sure. Okay, so also, Lamass says, also, do you think Umino and Amano are related, or do they just buy their glasses at the same store? What if they're the same person?
I think that there's a conspiracy in which, like, there's all these swirly glasses characters.
Yeah.
And I think that they're all distantly related. And that Umano
the mangaka.
Yeah, the mangaka.
I think that she's related to them. I think that the lady at the arcade board, like trade-in and rental shop, is part of them. And Princess D of the D Kingdom, which is a great name. I think she's related to them as well.
Okay.
They're all related.
I mean,
I think so many characters are related, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's like, we got another question from somebody. Oh my gosh. From at Crystal Scalers out on Instagram that says, my favorite character in the series is Natsuna Sakurada, who's the police general inspector or whatever or something. Yes.
Yeah.
So do you think she's related to Usagi's teacher, Miss Haruna Sakurada? And yes, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously.
There's like a whole like family of season names.
Yeah.
Like across like Takeuchi's work. There's like Natsuna or Natsumi, which is summer, Haruna, which is Haru or spring, and there's like Fuyuna and some figure skating manga, which is Fuyu or winter, and they all have the last name of Sakuruda. So their parents were like, we're gonna have 4 kids and we're all gonna name them after seasons.
Yay! Gotta have a theme. Especially when it comes to naming your children. They'll love it. A++.
Yes, they will love it. Kids will not bully them at school.
No. No, absolutely not. All right. Well, almost final question. there was a bonus question. But so 5. Do you think we'll ever see a Sailor V anime? If they made one, would you want it to be faithful to the manga or expand on it like the OG Sailor Moon anime? Okay, see, I once recorded a podcast in which I was asked if they would ever make a new Fruits Basket anime, and I believe we answered probably not, but maybe. And then before I could release that podcast, before I released that podcast, they announced they were going to make a new Fruits Basket anime. So if a Sailor V anime happens, just know that I willed it into the universe.
You did it. This podcast. You heard it here, folks.
It manifested through that, okay? So I never say never.
Wow. Spoilers for our thoughts. I don't really think it's going to be. If it's not available digitally, bad news, friends. Bad news for Sailor V. But I also think it probably isn't, because I think the original Sailor Moon anime, hits a lot of the same vibes as the manga does. It's a comedy. It's episodic. There's like a monster of a week. Again, not that I wouldn't love one. There is like a fan animation that if you look up Sailor V, that's like the first thing that comes up, where somebody, I think, used like animation from they use animations from the original Sailor Moon, and like different characters like Umino or Amino, they replaced with the Sailor Moon counterpart. I think Hikaru, her best friend, is like Ami. So I feel like it would look really cool.
Okay?
They're literally the same.
They are the same.
Like, I was really confused in the last chapter when like Ami was running past. I was like, oh, Hikaru, what are you doing? Oh, what?
No, it's Ami. Wait.
Like, Mina didn't even look and be like, oh, is that my friend? No. They look the same.
No, she's better at knowing they're different. She's like, that's not it.
Yeah, it's not it, fam.
She feels their presence.
Yeah. For sure.
But, yeah. I personally don't think it'll happen. Sad news.
Yeah.
All right, you're going to eat those words, but all right.
If there isn't a financial incentive for Toei, I don't think that they will. Sailor V is by its nature isn't going to be as profitable as Sailor Moon. I think that they're going to do Sailor Moon again before they do Sailor V.
They've already done it twice.
It's like Marvel. It's like Spider-Man.
They'll do it again. They're releasing those Cosmos movies, I guess. So
yeah. Like maybe they release like a Sailor V OVA kind of like the Cosmos movies, which that's what they were going to do. The second attempt to make a Sailor V anime was some OVAs. But outside of that,
there's precedent. There's third time is a charm, is what I heard.
Yes, sure. Right after Bloom Into You and Nishijo get another season.
You're very funny.
I'm hilarious.
There's so many shoujos to add to that list. Oh
yeah,
no.
so many shoujos.
Yeah. And like a lot of them were just like, it's just because like the financial incentive ain't there.
I know, but give me Yona.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Yona and Princess Jellyfish.
Yes.
If they ever were to make one, I would really like it to be more faithful to the manga than even like the Sailor Moon animes were to the manga. Like I want them to replicate the interesting papercraft style that Takeuchi employs. In the animes, like if you've ever seen like the first version of Moonlight Densetsu, the first opening, they really lean into that the craft style that Takeuchi uses, and then they just don't again. I want an adaptation of Sailor V that's like that. Just with
David
like,
Productions.
Yeah, it'd be a David Productions thing, like with the
perfect,
like with the weird newspaper in the background and all those like repeating
all the like
little
screen tones.
designs.
Yeah.
And just all these different screen tones and this wispy dreamlike look that happens occasionally, contrasted with like repeating patterns and tessellations and stuff. It'd be so good, but I don't know. I think like modern Toei could do that, but David Productions will be better for it. But that won't happen. I think like Toei got unionized and their new stuff is like actually looked good. As opposed to Crystal and Dragon Ball Super for a long while, and insert a Toei show here.
Yeah,
Digimon.
Oh gosh, Digimon! Oh, those poor Blu-ray releases, they look terrible. Digimon has the budget of like $5 and a ham sandwich. Even the Blu-rays, and like, oh, try.
It's bad.
It's bad.
But hopefully we're wrong.
But yeah, I would want it to be more faithful to the manga, just because I feel like one of the barriers for me getting into Sailor Moon is that I don't like the extra fill. Like, it's already pretty, not fillery, but like nothing is lingered on for a long time. And I guess they like kind of fixed that by adding more things, but I'm just like, I can't, this balance is not right to me still, you know? Like, whereas
we're opposite. I love filler.
Yeah, you love it.
That's why I love the original so much.
That's like the big divide when it comes to the animes. And from what I've heard, some of the characterizations, because like they weren't written yet, diverge. Like not on the level of like Rei's characterization from the manga compared to like her anime one, which is like that was deliberate. It's just like, oops, we didn't really have the reference material at the time.
Yeah.
Fair.
Rei was just like character assassination.
I saw the anime first, so my nostalgia and bias is kicking in.
Yeah.
Boy Crazy Rei is dumb. Why?
Yeah. Rei, who loves only Minako, and they go live happily ever after with her crows. The best.
Yeah.
The best.
Okay, the bonus question was more of a Sailor Moon anime question. But what is your favorite moment of Minako mixing up proverbs or other comedic moment of hers? And so I definitely laughed at the heroine with an E and without an E joke in here. I was like, that's a classic. It never gets old.
It's so good.
Hit me with it all the time.
Girl. Drugs.
Girls and drugs, those are the best. Okay.
Girl best friend.
Honey, what's your answer?
Oh my gosh. I took this question as just like, hey, what's your favorite funny Mina moment? And she has so many. I put a link to some funny Mina moments just because I thought maybe that'd be a good reference, especially
like,
I guess
one
since
isn't
you
good
guys haven't
enough.
seen it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But my favorite episode, and again, I watched this today because I had to. Mina, there's a whole episode where Mina 2 times these boys, and again, it's like, yes, queen, get them, take those boys,
Just collect them
for everything
all.
they're worth. And she, like, the group is just like reacting, and they're like, why is she doing this? Like, how could she? And she's running around, running these boys around, and these boys, they're the villains. And they're like competing with each other, like, I'm gonna get her energy first, no, I'm gonna get, or it's like they're competing to see what her dream is. This is the arc where I almost said Rini. Is it clear that I've seen the old dub where Chibi Usa
Yeah,
this is
Chibi-Usa.
her Pegasus arc.
Mhm.
This is her Pegasus arc, and these the circus, Dark Moon Circus Trio, I think is who they are. The 2 supposedly cishet dudes from the anime, but not from the manga.
Yeah, apparently Takeuchi was like really mad about that.
That's fair. But they're competing for her, and then when they find out she's 2-timing them, he's like, make a decision, and she's like, I can't, and I'm gonna choose both of you. And then they get mad. And they like take her dream, and then she's still so delusional about it. She's like, no, don't fight over me, don't do this. And then her friends come, they get beat, and so she transforms, and she's like, how could you do this to me? You guys played me. And it's like, no, you played them.
Girl, you played yourself.
You played yourself.
Win stupid.
It's so funny.
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. That's Minako's arc.
Yes.
And then she
Minako's
continues to
every
play the
day.
stupid games.
The entire episode, it has me cracking up. But like, my favorite thing she says in it is something like, oh, to be this beautiful is a sin. And it's just, it shows you how like self-centered she is, and how like kind of vapid, but in a way that's really not that serious. I love it.
Yeah. She's like a kid that is also very aware of the fact that she's like the reincarnation of the god of like this goddess of beauty sort of thing. And so she's going to be like, I'm so beautiful. I am literally fated to be the most beautiful person ever, and you can't stop me.
I need my men. Give me all of them. I can't choose. My men and Ray.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or other women.
It's like the, oh my gosh, the teacher and like the manager and like Blooming to You. It's like, I kind of like men. I mostly like men. You're an exception. And then they make out.
You're an exception.
You're the exception. We've been married for like 3 years, girl.
Yeah. Okay, Vixen, I see you have a very funny quote written down as a favorite.
Yes. Victor Hugo and the Animal Liberation Front may allow it, but I, the great Sailor V, will not let you get away with it. Which is referring to this evil cat named Nyan Nyan, stealing the energy of like a bunch of students during sports day, and it's great. We love that. Victor Hugo is like, oh gosh, what did Victor Hugo write? I'm gonna kick
Les
myself.
Miserables.
Yeah, Les Miserables. Yes, and if I remember correctly, he was known for like animal rights, for campaigning for animal rights or something. There's like Minako just like does this a lot. Like at one point, she just starts quoting like Mao Zedong.
Yeah.
How does she know?
How does she
How
know?
does she know?
That's
She's
how
supposed to be
we have
dumb.
questions.
Yeah, like Artemis is like the one that's being like really pretentious all the time and pulling out like book quotes and proverbs because he just wants to feel like he's so superior to Mina, and like he's like drawing over her self introductions all the time, and he's like, I am the great and intelligent tomcat Artemis. And then Minako, like while she's transforming, is doing this Darkwing Duck bullshit. It's so good.
Oh my god.
It's
yeah.
like, are you reading Communist Theory? Cool. Good for you. Mao Zedong's kind of a bitch. But you know what? Good for you.
When she's not reading what was the manga called that she was reading? It's just not important. The manga that she worked on. She's not reading the 108 volumes of that. She's reading some communist stuff.
Yeah. Like, read The Conquest of Bread or something, girl. And related to that, one of her quotes is, "I never really liked those police, always throwing their weight around. I've always wanted to knock them off their high horse." just this like 13-year-old's like, okay, the police, what a bunch of dorks. I've just always wanted to like put them in their place.
Minako was already like, a cab.
Way back in the 90s.
Sailor V,
always an ally.
Always an ally. Except for when it comes to the Japanese police mascot. Like, I think the thing's kind of cute.
Oh yeah.
I believe the manga ended with that, with the
Yeah.
that is like the ending panel in this is like the weird creepy police mascot that they introduced.
That's like a real thing in Japan.
I didn't know that was a thing.
But it's frightening. I'm scared of it.
I just might have like gotten to a like the way that she draws it is intentionally like kind of terrifying.
Oh,
like
okay.
maybe I've just like kind of gotten, I just associate it instinctively with the blue badger from Phoenix Wright, which is a pastiche. Yeah, it's a pastiche of that.
It makes so much sense now. I didn't, and it took this reading that I put together that that's what the blue badger was. Like, never understood.
It's like
nightmares.
Yeah, it's like that thing is like on signs like promoting safety awareness to kids, and like, oh, here's the emergency number that you should call if you're in trouble.
It's the stuff of nightmares.
Your face is the stuff of nightmares.
Okay, maybe.
I don't know. I'm going to assume it is.
Okay, great. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, did we do it? Is that Sailor V? Sailor V is delightful and funny and everybody should read it?
Yes. You should all read it. Go buy it, apparently, because there's nothing else you can do. I do not promote other methods of getting it.
We don't promote other methods of getting it. Go buy the big old Eternal editions.
Buy it.
Buy it. Demand it to be on K-Manga. And then if enough people buy it, we will eat our words about there being an anime.
Yeah. We're going to start the Sailor V revolution now. Sailor V is going to become everybody's new favorite Sailor Guardian.
She's going to be the most popular character in anything ever. Mina can finally quit her job as a Sailor Senshi and become like an idol.
Yeah, it's her dream.
That's her dream. She's very devoted to also being very popular.
Perfect.
She's like, oh my gosh, I'm yesterday's news. No. Oh wait, this Phantom Ace guy is hot. I'm okay with him replacing me.
I get to be the judge of who's hot enough, though.
Yeah. That's it. It's like she's oh gosh, there's this one line where she's like, oh, I can always forgive someone if they're attractive enough, which I think Usagi says also in the Sailor Moon regarding Rei, which that's so good. I also agree that even if that is okay, that's probably a bad message. Don't forgive people just because they're attractive.
No.
Don't actually do it, but when you say it in a manga, it's like a power move, like then it's funny.
Power move.
Like, I can forgive my wife for calling me a loser because she's attractive. I can forgive her for hogging the TV and playing Breath of the Wild and like not the new one, like just the original one.
I was like, Breath of the Wild is so 5 years ago.
That's nothing wrong with that. And she's like playing the Switch version and not the Wii U version. I should put the Wii U version on my Wii U.
Okay. Well, I haven't been playing. I'm playing a game on the PlayStation 3, so like I'm super uncool.
Oh.
And not with the times.
Get on Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh, of the games, I mean, the games that I'm playing right now, let's see. I'm playing through Skyrim with a bunch of mods. I'm playing the original Dragon Quest on the Famicom and Kirby Canvas Curse on the DS.
Amazing.
I just have like, oh, and I started playing Resident Evil 1 on the PlayStation 1 with a friend.
Well, I think Minako is very proud of all of us then.
Yeah, she loves the Famicom.
She loves the Famicom.
Excuse me, the Fammy.
The Fammy.
Yeah. Or the Nintendo Entertainment System, for you, America Jean, as the kids say.
Yes. America Jean, we're so baka.
Yeah, I can't remember. Gaikoku Jean is the actual word for foreigner. The other one is a slur for foreigners. You shouldn't say that.
Shouldn't say that, so we won't.
Yeah, don't say it.
Don't say
Although,
it.
like, swear words like aren't really a thing in Japan. My friends in Japan like found it really, really funny when like my friend Mia and I would say swears because they're like forbidden words.
Oh.
Tell us all your forbidden English ways.
Also, just like because like English swear words are really funny. Just like have this kind of like force to them when you're saying them. They're really like
they really pop off. Yes,
they really pop off. There's like this whole like speech by Stan Lee about how like the F word is like the most versatile word in the English language.
We're geniuses here. Let Minako say the F word. No, okay.
Let Minako pepper swear words into her speeches. She'll probably mispronounce them.
Yes, and then she will give us new delightful proverbs that she messes up or whatever.
Yes.
I love that.
She'll probably like say, "Oh, shiitake." And like, it's like oh, actually, there's this one part where she like calls something a crap game, and I'm like, if I remember correctly, in the Japanese version, she uses the word kusoge, which like is a shortened version of a kuso game or crap game, or mostly refers to the S word games.
Mm-hmm.
She's using gamer terminology. She's one of us. She's a gamer.
One of us.
She's a gamer.
All right, so yes, Sailor V is for all the gamers out there. You should read it. So everybody, thanks for listening to Shojo Tell. Comments, questions, constructive criticism, concerns, want to hear me say less C's, want to tell us how Sailor V is your new favorite Sailor Guardian, email shojoandtell@gmail.com or leave a comment on the episode's YouTube page. We're at Shojo Tell on Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram, so long as any of those services continues to exist in the hell world that we live in.
Yay!
Yay!
Technology!
Woo! Tech companies! Okay, Honey, where can people find you and your work on the internet?
Yeah, so I am on Twitter and Instagram and Twitch, although there's not a lot of Twitch content, at Ate Honeymilk, AteHoneyymilk. If you don't speak Tagalog, it looks like 8 honey milk, but please say Ate. I'm your big sister, Ate Honeymilk. I think those are the 3 main social medias. There might be links to other things. That's where you can find me.
Woo! And
Yay.
Vixen, where can people find you and your work on the internet?
I don't really do anything, but I'm at Princess Vixie on Twitter. I don't really.
Nobody can find me.
I don't really post anything outside of like. Occasionally, I'll post some dumb things.
Sometimes you'll be like, "I love Minako."
Yeah, I mostly like retweet art or occasionally like post pages from something that I'm reading. So. Yeah,
I love following art and people who follow art.
Yeah.
That's
I just
what
want to see
do.
pretty art.
I just love pretty art.
Yeah, I love it. Are you excited every time you see a new episode from us? If so, please consider leaving a rating on Apple Podcasts. This will help the podcast reach more hearts, or at least ears, or just say how much you like us on Twitter or something. I don't know. Thanks again for listening. We'll be back next time for the first half of Sacrificial Princess and the King of Beasts. Look at how contemporary and cool I am trying to be now. Isn't that fun? I am so fun.
Ooh.
Ooh, it's got an anime.
Next, you're gonna read Cutie Honey and Astro Boy.
No. Don't. I need to get out of here now. I've been in the 90s too long.
That's not the 90s. That's like the 60s and 70s.
That's like...
We're gonna take you back to the past.
But now I've been stuck in the 90s. You can't make me go backwards. I need to go forwards. Okay. Stay tuned until Sacrificial Princess and the King of Beasts. We're gonna do it. Until then, bye.
I probably won't be there. Bye!
No, now you are.
Oh no! I have entered into a contract.
You have entered into a contract. I have it legally binding on this recording here. Yep.